Paris cannot happen. Finalize some details. Give me a week. I'll let you know who you're facing and when the championship match is.
All right, guys, we back at the Pink Square Circle. We soon going to talk about who will be the mystery opponent for Stephanie Vaquer as she competes for the Women's World Championship and much more at the Pink Square Circle. Hey, guys, we are here at Pink Square Circle. We'll talk about who is Stephanie Vaquer mystery opponent. And we're going to talk about who will face Stephanie for the title for the Women's World Championship. You guys get the lights as we come into the circle. Now, we know that Stephanie Vaquer, as stated before in my other video, she was slated to face Naomi at Clash at the Castle, which would be the final PLE on Peacock, United States. But unfortunately, since Naomi's pregnant, she had to vacate the championship because as of right now, at the time of this video, we have a vacant Women's World Championship with no champion. So with that being said, according to what Adam Pearce said, Stephanie Vaquer, we don't know when that's going to be when they're going to fight for the title. Now, it could be at a Monday Night Raw, maybe the Raw after Clash in Paris. They could do it that way, have Stephanie opponent or opponents fight for the Women's World title. Or what I'm believing that they're going to do, we do have a brand new PLE called WrestlePalooza Indianapolis in September 20th, I believe. It's on a brand new ESPN app with the brand new deal with ESPN and WWE. They'll help Christian that in, so they could do that.
Look, before we go any further, you are the #1 contender to the Women's World Championship, okay? No one is taking that away from you. But with Naomi's situation and technically the title being vacant, Paris cannot happen. Look, I know you're disappointed, so am I, okay? But you will have your championship match. I already have an opponent in mind. I just need a week to finalize some details. Give me a week. I'll let you know who you're facing and when the championship match is. Deal?
I wish I could have been at Clash in Paris.
Me too.
But understand.
Good.
Entiendo. I will be ready.
I know you will. Thank you.
Now, what led me to believe what Adam Pearce, when he told Stephanie, give him a week to come up with an opponent, and he apologized for the delay, you know, when the championship match is going to be for the vacant Women's World Championship. That led me to believe it's not going to just be anybody on Monday Night Raw as of right now that we would think is going to compete for the Women's World Championship besides Stephanie Vaquer. Now, there's speculation. People want to say it could be Io Sky. It could be Rhea Ripley. I don't think it's going to be either one of those women. Now, if they do get in a match, they're not going to win, obviously. But I don't see those two compete because they're in a storyline right now with Asuka, you know, and, you know, the whole thing with Io and, you know, she being cool with Rhea and not being cool with Asuka. That whole thing's going on, so we can't forget about that. So I don't see them doing that. Who's the mystery opponent for Stephanie Vaquer? And there's some names that I have in mind. Now, the first person I think that may be the mystery opponent for Stephanie Vaquer, Bayley. Bayley currently is going through a character change. She has not been the same since Luke not winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She's going through split personality. Is she the role model or is she the hugger? And, you know, Bayley, she's a very good representative to fight for the vacant world title. Bayley is a multiple-time Women's World Champion. She's won the WWE Women's Championship, the Raw and SmackDown versions. You guys know which one on several occasions. You know, she had won the late SmackDown, then now Women's World Championship for 380 days. You know, she had a very good run during the pandemic era. She could come out debuting as a heel in this brand new character. Maybe split personality back and forth. She could be a good opponent for Stephanie, and maybe she puts Stephanie over. Maybe that kicks off Bayley's character. You know, just some speculation. I could see Bayley being one of the opponents because they normally like to use Bayley as the template for when someone have their first title defense or, in this case, a vacant world championship match. So she could be a good one. We have seen Bayley wrestle in a while. Now, she's been doing the vignettes and stuff for the past couple weeks, but her coming out as mystery opponent, that, you know, it could go either way. Is it Bayley or is it Stephanie? Is it Stephanie or Bayley? You know, the crowd will not know who is going to win the Women's World Championship Because Bayley could come in there surprisingly and win the title and kick off his whole new character. Who knows? But I can see that happen with Bayley because, let's face it, the babyface Bayley, I don't like that character. Bayley is so much better as a heel character, or tweener, whatever you want to put it. But she could be a good choice to face Stephanie for the title. Now, Stephanie could sneak away and beat Bayley. Like I said, kick Bayley's character off. Or Bayley wins and she cheats her way to win the title. Maybe that light a fire under Stephanie Vaquer, as Stephanie Vaquer could go ahead and be the chaser for the Women's World Championship against Bayley. And maybe at some point she eventually win it. So that's one idea. Let's go to another idea. Another opponent, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, we haven't seen her in a while. I know she's out with a broken finger, but that was back in April, back at WrestleMania 41. That was, almost 4.5, almost 5 months ago. The last time Bianca Belair was in a match physically was at this year's WrestleMania in a triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Coincidentally, the same title against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, which they tore the house down in that match, by the way. One of the best matches of the year, 2025, I might add. But I would say Bianca could be the mystery opponent. No one would expect Bianca to come out there. She could come out there to her music. Now, what character she'll be in? If Stephanie Vaquer is going to be the babyface, maybe Bianca will be the heel. But Bianca, similar to Bayley, has a great resume. She's a multiple-time women's women's champion. She's won championship, I believe, twice in her career. One of them she won at WrestleMania 37. She has some feuds. And I think the last time she won the women's championship was back at SummerSlam 2023. So 2 years ago, right before Io Sky went on to cash in the Money Bank contract on Bianca. So she had a very, very short run. I would say it's time for Bianca Belair to win the women's championship again. It's been a minute. It's been over 2 years now. Now, like I said, what character is she going to be in? Will Bianca be a babyface, still over, or could she transition to heel? Now, it could be a babyface versus babyface with Stephanie and Bianca could lose. That could kick off the heel character of Bianca Belair. Or like I said, she cheats. Similar to what I said with Bayley. Maybe that gets Stephanie Vaquer to be the chaser for a while. But Bianca could lose. And maybe that upset her. She felt she was wrong. Maybe it could be a roll-up, whatever the case may be. And that kicks off the whole Bianca being a new heel. Think about it. It's been teased for months. Many speculate she will be heel with the whole Naomi attack of Jade Cargill back late last year. Maybe this will be the icing on the cake, or as they say, tip of the iceberg of what make Bianca a heel, because she's tired of losing at this point. But I could see that happening with her. I know she was a recently tag team champion, but it's time for Bianca Belair to get some singles championships again. So why not start with the Women's World Championship? Now, of course, it will be at Stephanie Vaquer's expense, but it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to have Bianca have that belt. I don't think besides Jade Cargill, it may not be no other story for Bianca Belair on SmackDown as of right now. I don't see her really having a good feud with anybody. Now, I know she has a fault, Tiffany Stratton and all that, but this would be a better story for Bianca right now. So that's number 2. Idea number 3, Natty. Not Natalya Neidhart, Natty. She's been in this character lately on the independent scene on GCW. She's been on NWA. She's been on plenty of independent promotions. It's like an alter character or alter ego. She's Natalya in WWE, all nice and perky. Then she has this MMA, Shayna Baszler-esque, type of character, Ronda Rousey type, where she's natty, she's hardcore, she's flipping the birds, she's cursing people out, attacking people on sight, just straight up getting down to business. Now, what if this character of Natty came out, fought Stephanie for the belt? What if Natty wins, surprisingly? That would be a big boost to Natalya's career. Oh, I'm sorry, Natty. Natty has never won a title, but Natalya has won titles. Natty's never won a championship in this character, so you never know. But Stephanie Vaquer, she is projected to be the next champion or next big star for WWE in the women's division. I see that happening with her. They're very, very high on her. Stephanie, I said it before, she's won the NXT Women's Championship and the Women's North American Championship simultaneously. And she won those belts literally a month and a half after debuting on NXT television. And then recently she lost the NXT Women's title, came to Raw with this spring, and now she's already fighting for a Women's World Championship match. That fast. So they are very high on this woman here. Now, how long she's going to hold the belt or what feuds they haven't planned, there's a lot of stories behind that. Stephanie can fight Rhea Ripley. She could finish that one match with Io Sky. She could fight Bayley. Maybe other women on the roster that seem like that could be a threat. Ivy now, maybe. She's always a good threat for the Women's World title. You know, maybe Becky or Nikki, when they're done with their program, one of those two can fight for the Women's World Championship. But there's a lot of story going on behind it. And I do see that either one of those three women that I mentioned could do it. Or what they could do, too, it could be a triple threat or a four-way match. It don't have to be a singles match. They could play it that way, too. Or a ladder match, as I stated before. It may be Stephanie wins that match, you know, by pinning one of the other opponents so the other opponents don't look as weak. So it don't have to be a singles match. Could be triple threat or a four-way. But I definitely see it happening at WrestlePalooza this year. They're going to do it at a PLE. I said it could be at a Raw. I don't think it's going to happen at Raw. I don't think it's going to be a random episode of any regular TV. It's going to be a PLE. Of course, they want you to pay money where everybody can see it. And it'll be decent. But we're going to see what's going to happen next with this whole thing, because we won't hear anything until next Monday on Raw. Who is going to be the mystery opponent of Stephanie Vaquer? Who's popping out? Who's it going to be? Or maybe Adam Pearce does a series, a tournament, or whatever, a little small tournament. And maybe who wins the tournament gets to be the mystery opponent for Stephanie. Wins to go against her. Who knows? But we will only know when it comes to Monday Night Raw. I do know one thing. That's how it's going to be decided at a PLE WrestlePalooza. But other than that, though, you guys let me know what you think of that. Who's going to face Stephanie Vaquer for this Women's World Championship, this vacant title? Who is she? Who's it going to be? Is it one opponent, two opponents, or three opponents? So we got to see. And that's all I have of who will be Stephanie Vaquer's mystery opponent for the Women's World Championship. Who will face Stephanie for the Women's World title at WrestlePalooza or a random episode of Monday Night Raw? You guys let me know in the comments below. Click the link below to the next video, guys. And of course, as usual, thank you for all your support. And also, we're going to talk about the aftermath of how this time match is going to begin. Until then, guys, I will see you guys later.